Bring Her Back, directed by Danny and Michael Philippou, also known as Raka Raka, as I grew up knowing them. This is a new horror film by A24, and it's an interesting one for sure. I didn't love my experience watching it, but it's the type of film where the more I think about it, the more I look back on it, the more I respect it and enjoy it. I think it's because I had different expectations for this film. So the trailer is extremely eerie if you've seen it. And for those of you who don't know, the film follows these two step siblings who are very close, and right after they find their father dead in the shower, they become foster kids. They move in with Sally Hawkins, and she also has another child that's a foster kid named Ollie. And he's very creepy, very off, and you just, from the trailers, he's in the posters, you just know he's like the key to whatever possession is going on in this household. To balance the eerie vibe, Sally Hawkins is extremely empathetic, extremely warm. She just is very scheming, very intelligent, and it makes for interesting drama. And I think that's where it's not a complaint, but that's where my lack of enjoyment comes from while watching it. I thought this was going to be an extremely horrific film, a film that just gets under my skin, and while watching it, I'm just like cringing by the tone. I thought the tone was going to just like make me feel like I shouldn't be watching this, and I want to feel that. And this film will surprise me because it's very much a drama with disturbing imagery. The filmmaking style and the tone to me wasn't of a horror film. I think Stephen King's the one who says it, but true horror is the forbidden. And that's absolutely what this film is doing. So make no mistake, the film is a horror film. It's disturbing. It has so much gore, so much horrific imagery, eerie stuff that just feels so unnatural. And I mean, the title says it, Bring Her Back. It's about bringing back the dead and using strange rituals to achieve this. And it's twisted. It's like the ultimate forbidden phenomenon, bringing something or someone back from the dead. And I feel like looking back on the film, it achieved that perfectly. The writing of the film was actually very interesting because it doesn't paint Sally Hawkins as a pure through and through villain. It never glorifies her actions, and it never makes you sympathize with her too much, like where you're rooting for her, but it does a very interesting amount of humanizing her character. And I mean, grief is something that everyone goes through in their life. So I could see why they took this route, because it does make her incredibly relatable, but she's incredibly twisted. And yeah, so many scenes you just hate her because, like I said, she's scheming. So sometimes you see her being very genuine, and then you just realize that was all a lie. And she's just so good at lying, you know? But it's because she just has her own demons. You learn about why she wants to bring someone back from the dead, and they tease at how she's gonna go about it. I wouldn't say this is a complaint, this is just some more subjective thing, but I would have wanted to know more, because when it comes to horror, the big reason why I watch horror is out of curiosity. I love these crazy, weird, dark concepts, and I just always am curious to see how a film or a director is going to achieve this concept. The concept of bringing something back from the dead was very interesting, but the way she learns it, all those tapes, all those recordings you see in the trailer, all that is still very vague in the film. You learn more and more, but I would have wanted more personally. But, you know, some people might be glad that they kept it so vague because they don't want to get the whole dark magic spoiled for them, you know? But the film is very dark, and it has a very dark ending, a surprising ending that I honestly didn't think it was gonna go there. But once it like crosses a certain line, which I think you'll know it when you see it, once it crosses that line, I was very much like all bets are off. Like anything could happen at this point. And that's an exciting place to live in, you know, for like the last 20 minutes of the film. So yeah, I very much enjoyed the film. I can't say I loved it just because of that strange relationship I have with it, with having different expectations and wanting the film to meet those expectations. But I very much appreciate the film. I very much respect the film, and it definitely made me cringe a lot. Like I said, there's a lot of gore in the film, and I'm not someone who responds to gore that much. I'm not someone who cringes. Like I just saw the Final Destination. It didn't really affect me. It affected my friend. Most gore doesn't affect me, but there's a very specific type of gore that does get to me, and I was cringing in my seat, involving knives, involving cutting, and that's all I'll say. So yeah, it definitely got me there, and perhaps it's a good thing that I didn't enjoy my experience because it was incredibly dark. But yeah, the film is not boring at all. Every second counts in that film. Even in the very beginning, when you see just an introduction to the characters, just the way they're interacting with each other foreshadows so much of later, because their sibling dynamic needs to be established, because that's how Sally Hawkins is gonna exploit it later. And I just think, very good writing, a very tight script, and hats off to Raka Raka for making another banger. Well, let me know your thoughts on the film, and thanks for watching.